Hello, everyone. Welcome to Next Big Future. There's been some huge developments on this side of SpaceX, and it ties into something that's people have been following in Tesla that's not quite out yet, but these two technologies come together and will have a huge impact in how you might live and travel in the 2030s. So I'm going to share some slides on that, and Randy will ask me things so that we can get it all explained to everyone. So it is the Starfall SpaceX new vehicle. So Starfall is a hockey puck shaped object that will weigh about 2 tons that will bring about 1 ton of payload down from space. So think cargo back from space, right? And we'll have cold thrusters in it as well. So that is some gas that they keep cold that they use to have about half the thrust, 1/3 the thrust of a regular hot rocket, right? So, but it's safer, right? Because it's at a colder temperature, but lower power and also more compact, right? So there's aluminum plate on top and then heat shield on bottom of this thing, right? And it's about um, can be about 3 meters wide. It could be various heights. It could be as short as less than a meter. It could be as high as 2.5 meters. Um, Not totally clear how the interior volume stuff. Some people are estimating 2.5 meters wide internally, which would be about 2 meters, 6 feet 7 inches. The half meters about another 19, 18 inches or
Mhm.
19 inches. So it's about 9 feet, 9 feet wide.
Okay.
And then it could be about 3 feet or 2.5 feet tall. There might be some variances on that. This relates to Tesla because cold thrusters are used in the Roadster.
Right.
So the Roadster isn't out yet, and then this is another possible dimensions of this thing.
Okay.
So the Roadster will be potentially a flying car,
Okay.
right? Because it'll have cold thrusters and it'll have some amount. As we've discussed before, the issue is that you cannot have enough fuel to fly really, really far. I can't fly, you know, 500 miles because I wouldn't have enough fuel in it,
Right.
right? So I can fly. So the whether I just hover for a little bit, fly for 30 seconds or a minute, flying for a minute at 120 miles per hour, I can go 2 miles,
Hmm.
right? So this range and distance thing about like the question is how much fuel can they get into it, right?
Right.
To how much performance you would have, right?
Mostly, I
But
just want to get around the traffic jam.
right, right. So then, being able to just fly 1 mile, you can get over your traffic jam, right? I can
Right.
get over to the next thing. I just have to, have what altitude am I permitted to fly at, like under
Yeah.
1 mile,
Right.
and then get over to that other location. So there's some regulatory issues around that, right?
Right.
So capability as well as what I'm permitted to do, right? This thing with cargo inside, it doesn't have to drive around with 200 kilograms of batteries inside. It doesn't have to have an engine to do something, right? So then
Hmm.
it has more room for fuel, right?
Hmm.
Potentially, right? So if I could put in a lot more fuel, then they could do more things. It could fly for 100 miles, right? Or
Hmm.
300 miles because it could fly for half an hour at 600 miles per hour, right? So, or I'm coming at speed. It's just a matter of having enough thrust to slow down, right? I would slow down with the heat shield, get down to 3 times the speed of sound, pop shoots, get down to a lower speed, and then you could maneuver under 200 miles per hour, and they could land um, on land and not just parachute into the water, right?
So Brian, I think it's important at this point before we go too much further because we don't have any visuals on this. Okay, these hockey pucks are floating around in space. No, these hockey pucks are doing some work on the moon. I mean, what's the
So
cargo? Where does the cargo come from?
normally we're going to low Earth orbit, right?
Okay.
And so either it's coming down. I go to low Earth orbit. I go to the space station. I go to a Starship that's orbiting around there, and
Mhm.
then if you're up there for a bunch of time and you're in low microgravity, right?
Mhm.
If you're in that orbit, low Earth orbit with microgravity, you can make really, really good optical fiber,
Right.
right? It can be like 1,000 times better,
Right.
right? So I make super fiber that
Hmm.
that is worth like $1 million a kilogram,
Hmm.
right? But I can't bring it down very easily, right? So if I have $1 million per kilogram, I can have $1 billion worth of optical fiber produced up there. I
Hmm.
stick it into this hockey puck,
Hmm.
and then I kick it out, thrust it out the airlock, and then
Right.
it thrusts and deorbits and comes
Okay.
down, and then it lands. So now I have $1 billion of optical fiber now, and I can have these things up there all the time. I can bring up, in a Falcon 9, I can bring up like half my cargo with this thing. I got like 10 of these things,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? Or maybe only can do five. I'm not, based on the weight, maybe only five,
Sure.
right? But
Sure.
still, I can bring down 5 tons, right? It weighs 10 tons, I bring down five, right?
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
now I can bring down, this highly valuable stuff. Um, really good optical fiber, really good drugs, pharmaceuticals that grow better in microgravity,
Hmm.
right? So this is potentially starting a whole new industry of make stuff in low Earth
Right.
orbit, bring it back.
Right.
Right now they do some of that, with going up to the space station, coming
Mhm.
back, but that's like one trip every 2, 3 months,
Yeah.
right? With this, you can come back like every day,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
I go up for a week, I come back every day. Boom, 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 boom.
Okay. So then if I understood you before we started the show, if I understood correctly, then once this is ejected out of the whatever it's in, a Starship or the Space Center or whatever, once it's ejected out with its load, it goes down, it starts to
It gets
enter,
out of orbit, it thrusts, it gets out of orbit.
it gets out of orbit
The
and
heat
the
shield is protecting it as it burns into the atmosphere.
and it also comes down slower because you're using thrusters to
No,
keep it from going. No.
initially, you're only slowing down with the heat shield.
Okay.
All you is like the Apollo capsule when you went
Hmm.
to the moon and the
Hmm.
guys came back,
Right.
right? They had no thrusters.
Okay.
They only had heat shield, a
Got it.
blunt object.
Right.
Because it's a blunt object, it will
Mm.
get hot slowing down,
Right.
right? And then all it has to do is survive. It comes out the other end, and the Apollo capsule was going, what, 200 miles per hour at the end, right?
Hmm.
Because you made it very blunt.
Yeah.
That means when I go through the air, the atmosphere, then I slow down. So
Okay.
the main slowdown is the heat shield.
Hmm. Hmm.
If I have the heat shield, I can go from orbit and I can get to a slow speed. The problem if I don't have a good heat shield is that I'm destroyed before I get to the slow speed,
Right. 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 Right.
right?
Okay.
So yeah.
And then it parachutes, and as it's parachuting, it's kind of like these parachuters that can land on a bullseye.
So
Uh,
so well yeah. So if you have the square parachutes, the
mhm,
parasailing parachutes,
mhm, mhm.
you can control far more closely where you want to
Right.
land,
Right.
right? So this even without the cold thrusters, all you have is heat shield and parachutes.
Hmm.
That is what the Apollo capsules did, the Mercury capsules
Got
got
it.
back, but you're getting back into the ocean, right? And then
Right.
because you can't really control where you're landing, right? Then the ships have to go around 100 miles, 200 miles, because you're anywhere within 200 miles, right?
Mm.
I could be
Mm.
from like, here, to the other end of Texas or something like that,
Right. Right. Right.
right?
Right.
So that's the issue. But if I have cold thrusters and I have better parachutes, I
Yeah.
can more precisely get to where I
Got it.
want to be.
Got it. Yeah.
So then I can be like, a mile away from the boat that's going to pick me up,
Hmm. Hmm.
right? So that's why I want the thruster control, right?
Okay.
But so I can get down to 200 miles per hour. I can get down to 30 miles per hour with the parachutes, right? Because I'm just slowing down. I'm just using the
Yeah.
air to slow me down,
Yeah.
right? Those things work. The thrusters mean I can precisely determine where I'm
Hmm.
going to go. And if I
Hmm.
have enough thrusters, I cannot land. I don't have to land in the water. I can
Hmm.
land on land,
Yeah.
right? Because that's what we've been doing with the Starship,
Right.
right? And,
Right.
and for Falcon 9 booster, right?
Sure.
It's like I have enough fuel, I have enough
Hmm.
thrusters, I
Hmm.
can land pinpoint. I can
Right.
land on the chopsticks of a
Right.
tower,
Right.
right? So with that, you can land where you want to be. And why do I want to do that? That means I'm not like, you know, going 100 miles away to retrieve something. It's on my driveway.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I can just pull it right in. I can
Right.
turn it around faster, the faster cycle time,
Right.
right? So Nothing about this is cargo, has to be cargo only. The reason it's cargo only is I'm not sure one is safe enough yet. I haven't tested it, I haven't man rated it, right? But the heat shield parachute thing was safe enough for humans in the Mercury capsules,
Right.
in the Apollo capsules,
Right.
right? So this can be man rated, right? And it can be very, very cheap, right? If I'm making five per Falcon 9 launch, right?
Right.
Or 100 per, I can mass produce these things, right? Just
Yeah.
mass
Yeah.
produce heat shield, aluminum on top,
Yeah.
some parachutes, the heat shield that I'm just making loads of it, right?
Yeah.
And then I can put more thrusters in there to control the way down. And
Mhm.
if I have cars flying out at low speed, I'm mastering the low speed use of thrusters, right?
Yeah.
So then I can come down all the time. I can come down with people, right? So then why do I want to come down with people? One, if we increase the volume of people going to low Earth orbit because it's so cheap to go with low Earth orbit with Starship,
Mhm. Mhm.
right? Then I could fly, 100 people up there, right? I can fly 1,000 people up there, right? But each one of my dragons costs like $100 million, $500 million,
Yeah.
$1 billion,
Yeah.
right? $2 billion, right? If that's fine for six astronauts, because I'm only going whatever. But if I
Right.
have 1,000 people that I
Yeah.
brought up, right? For me to give dragons to each one of every six of them, right? I would need 200 dragons for 1,200 people, right? And that would cost me, you know,
Yeah.
potentially $1 billion a piece, $200 billion,
Yeah.
right? So I need a low cost solution for that, something that
D-
works. I can do it for volume. The thing is, if each one is considered a standard way or an emergency way, initially emergency because you haven't proved out as much, but then eventually the standard way to do things, right? Then I need to have a return ticket for everyone,
Right. Right.
right? This is the return ticket,
Right.
right? So then I can put up 10,000 people go into a space hotel and they
Mhm.
all come back down because, well, one, they could go up in Starship and come back in Starship. That's one way to
Right.
do it, right?
Right.
The other thing
Right.
would be I go up and then I have this. And the thing is, if I'm in my big space hotel and then
Hmm.
my space hotel gets hit with meteors,
Oh.
right? Then I got to get out of there in a hurry,
Yeah.
right? I need to have one escape pod, one lifeboat for every
Hmm.
person, right? Or
Hmm.
enough capacity, like four per whatever.
Right.
Like everyone needs to be able to get into the thing. I don't want to be like Titanic, where I think
Right.
this will never sink, and I only have 1/3 of the lifeboats
Lifeboat.
for
Yeah.
the people, right? I want 1-to-1 or even better, have a few extras just in
Yeah.
case,
Yeah.
right? So then this would be that future scenario, right?
Okay.
And so that gets us like having this would be on the road to we're flying 1,000 people up low Earth orbit, 1 million people up low Earth orbit. We're doing that as an industry. We're flying people around on Earth on starships, going to point travel, which they showed before, of going to
Hmm.
New York to
Hmm.
Paris, you
Hmm.
know, Los Angeles to Tokyo or whatever, right? In case something goes wrong mid-trip, and normally it wouldn't, but
Right.
in case it does, you want to have a system where everyone gets out safely and
Hmm.
lands safely,
Right.
right? And it also happens to align with the world of a lot of flying cars
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
the flying car problem is an easier problem than this thing,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? So I get
Because
this working, I get this working, and then we have another Elon SpaceX Tesla future.
there you go. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's fascinating. Fascinating. Well, of course, we're supposed to see this Roadster pretty soon.
Yes. You see the Roadster pretty soon. And I think the Starfall thing may be tested in July or August. I'm not sure if it's the
Wow.
second or the first or the second test launch. The other
Testing.
thing, the August, so we launched 12, so
Right.
13th next,
Right.
14th coming up. 14, the big one.
Okay.
14, they go to orbit, and 14, the Starship could land on chopsticks, not just
Mhm.
the booster.
Right.
The Starship
Right.
itself could land on
And take a real payload.
and take a real payload, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So those are huge, exciting things that can happen. And this is think of it as not just cargo and a huge new space industry where we
Hmm.
get better optical fiber, where we get better drugs and all this kind of stuff. It is This is a necessary step for us to have 1 hour travel anywhere, for us to have space hotels, because you need to have a way to evacuate and get
Yeah.
back
Yeah.
in case the next Starship isn't there in time, or I have one parked there, but I need to have a bit more things. Like I have a big um, space station, with one or two Starships parked at it, ready to come down.
Mhm.
I may not have time to run, 200 meters over to the Starship to get in it and come down, right? I may need to go like 30 feet over to the escape pod,
Right.
of which there's like 1,000 of them, in order to get out, right?
Right.
Because it's just a safety thing.
Well, and as we talked about too, I mean, I'm remembering some of the sci-fi movies about outer space, and these guys were always leaving the mothership,
Mhm.
and commonly they were in little jet type things, and
Right,
they could land on any planet anywhere.
right,
So these if these things are maybe get more and more sophisticated,
yeah,
then you'd leave the space hotel. You would always leave that way. You wouldn't be waiting for
right.
some kind of big ship to come get you.
And the other thing, as it becomes standard, it's if I'm flying around starships all the time, there's 10,000 starships, 100,000 starships flying around, just
Yeah.
like there's 100,000 passenger jets flying around,
Right.
right? Um, the Mechazilla you can think of as big prepared rocket um, runways, right?
Hmm. Yeah.
Landing and taking off from the
Right.
runway,
Right.
right? And a big airport.
Hmm.
So if I have 200 of those, they have 200 major cities that are all around them. Sometimes I want to go to a smaller city.
Right.
Sometimes, you have other things where there's no Mechazilla launch tower.
Hmm.
Now you can exit and
Hmm.
then land at that location. And then you can then distribute um, rides to more places. I can go
Right.
to, a small town
Right. 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 Yeah.
in Arkansas,
Yeah.
but it doesn't have a Mechazilla launch tower. But I can just on the way from the main ride going from LA to New York, I
Hmm.
can then exit and then go to all the places in between. Okay, those 5 pods are leaving. They're
Yeah.
going to go land at that place, and they're just it's not like an emergency parachute land.
Yeah.
They're
Yeah. Yeah.
impulsively landing,
Right.
going into the exact location they need to go to.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's crazy. It gets crazier and crazier.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, so it's far more impactful, far more um, useful. It's bringing that world of rockets for all kinds of passenger travel, and even if you needed it for the cargo, it's like you
Yeah.
need to deliver
Yeah.
the heart transplant heart, and then get it down to something. You can fly over the rocket,
Yeah.
pop these out, and boom, 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 boom. These fast, half hour, 1 hour deliveries are
Yeah.
happening,
Yeah.
right? And they don't have a Mechanical launch tower. They can receive the payload, for that emergency thing. There was the Iditarod, where they did the 1,000-mile run or 2,000-mile run with sled dogs, and they
Hmm.
would switch out sled dogs. That was because there was an emergency of getting drugs to a
Oh yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
200-person, 300-person place, right?
Right.
So these emergencies happen. You need to get something to someplace in a hurry. Getting there faster, being able to deliver it is a huge important thing to do. Yeah,
All right. Well, Brian, as long as we're, wrapping this up, I think we're wrapping it
you're
up. I
wrapping it up.
think
That's right.
we do want to remind people that from time to time they might have might be looking for opportunities to spend their money on investments that aren't just the regular, you know, go on your E-Trade account and just, buy some more or whatever. They
Right.
might be looking for some exotic or interesting or ways they can make more money, and
Yeah,
they should call you, right?
that's right. Yeah, sign up down below in the spreadsheet link, and then I'll try and reach out to you soon. And, no commitments. You have some questions. We can have a conversation. We can ask you questions about anything you want.
All righty then.
Okay. Talk to you next time. A lot of interesting stuff happening now. Bye bye.